What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Everything Goes podcast with your host, T and K. As my partner across the table would say, it's been a hot minute. We got a lot to talk about, and we have a special guest joining us today, so stay tuned.
Been lit, boy. Everything goes.
We now return you to regular programming.
All right, guys, tonight we have a special guest on the phone. We have Staci Vega, who is an MM fighter fighting out of Fort Collins. Is that correct?
Yeah, I fight out of Fort Collins, but I train down at Genesis Training Academy in Arvada.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
We got to ask you right out the back, what the heck got you into MMA fighting?
Oh man, so I don't know. I honestly couldn't even tell you what really sparked the interest for fighting in general, because I come from a background of like high school sports, like basketball. I raced BMX until I was like 16. Could have went pro in that, didn't do that. Like, just was like really always just a tomboy. And I think I got the spark from one of my friends. She was a like 3-time Golden Glove boxer, and I was just really interested in it. Like, I was never into the street fights, like never wanting to prove myself on there. I just know you will always end up getting hurt. So it's just not being tough in that sense. But then it was just like always hearing like her accomplishments and wanting that, and not wanting it as an individual, but not and not in a team setting. Like, because your team can carry you, like when you play sports like that. But like as an individual, you always strive for more. And that's what it was. I think I seen what I wanted, and I was just willing to just start it and wanting to start it. And I think that's what it was. And I started with boxing.
That's awesome. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Now, how does someone get started in that? Like, say if I wanted to get started in that, is it just you go to your local like boxing or MMA gym?
Yeah, you kind of go into like you can do your research nowadays. You can look up MMA gym in your facility. Like, Google helps you out, puts you on the map, and then you get to choose. And then honestly, you can just do your homework. Like, when I started in Wyoming, and that is probably one of the like least that has no talent whatsoever. I mean, they're very talented in other things, but I think as far as like the mixed martial arts, it died. It died a long time ago. But the gyms that I used to train in were just people who had who thought at the time had the knowledge, and they did for the time being. Like, at some point you have to move.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's I mean, you can just you walk into a gym and you're like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to learn how to box. I want to learn the basics. I don't ever want to get into a fight, but I want to use it for a workout. And it just like it just suits you in every which way possible. And say like you didn't want to do the stand-up part and you wanted to learn the ground, it's the same exact thing. You just find a BJJ gym and you go in, you like test it out and see if it works for you.
Well, that was one of our questions that was going to come up. What's your favorite position? Like, when you're in the ring, do you like to stand up and go toe-to-toe, or do you like to try to get to the mat?
Man, if you would have asked me this years ago, I probably would have told you that I would just want to stand up and just punch it out, But now I'm so confident and comfortable with any position that it kind of doesn't. I don't really care where I end up, because I know I'll be able to fight from there.
Yeah.
And I think as a fighter, you have to put yourself in those situations, because you can't just get comfortable with it being one way, because it's never going to always go that way.
Well, let's face it. Like if you look in the men's side right now, there's guys like Habib. Habib is 27-0, and he dominates on the ground. I mean, I don't think there's anybody out there right now that can match up with him maybe Nate Diaz, but I don't know. I think Nate Diaz is kind of done now. But I think,
he said he was done. I felt bad.
I don't know if there's anyone out there that can actually compete with him on the ground as far as his ground game goes, because he just gets you down there and he wears you out the whole time.
Yeah, and you've seen it. He did it with Connor. He did it with all of them. He just gets you in that position and holds you there. And I think that's like, I would like to say not so much. I think UFC was always, and the fans, like, this is why the fans are so spoiled and hate it when they go down to the ground. When you have to realize, like, that's the most technical work that we have to do. The stand up part is the easiest.
Oh
The
yeah,
ground,
absolutely.
if you learn to enjoy it and you see the moves for what they are and the wrestling and the background of it, it is very exciting. And I would be the first one to tell you, I'm the least person to, I used to hate the ground. Absolutely hate it, hate wrestling, everything about it. Dude's too good for it. And then I was like, nope, I need it.
Oh yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
how much does that
I
take a
have to
toll
do
on
it.
you? Like if you're at the other end of that, like you're not Habib, you're his opponent. How much does that take out of you being in that grappling hold and being taken to the ground like that?
Oh, if you don't practice it every day, you start to feel it in your muscles. Like so, like when we stand up, we kick, we punch, and we use our hands in a different way, and our feet and our legs in a different way. But when you're on the ground, you're using muscles that you've never used before. You're using this weird kind of finger strength that tires out your forearms because you're sitting there trying to battle their strength. And then when it comes down to it, it's not even who's the strongest, it's just who's the smartest
Yeah.
on the ground.
Now your last fight we got to watch through Facebook and videos and
Through Mike
highlights.
and Kelsey.
And I mean,
Oh, nice.
I can say you have a tough chin, man. Just going toe to toe like that and just eating punches like that. The fact I, mean, I was excited to watch that.
Yeah, how much
Oh,
how much of that was in your game plan? Because it seems like you guys just went fisticuffs. I mean, it's just like that was crazy.
um, so, um, So I have to go back and tell you a little bit of story about myself. When I first started this journey, it was like a really hard process for me to like understand just like having that confidence. And so then when I moved here to Fort Collins, I was training with another gym that's local in Fort Collins, and I wasn't getting the needs that I needed mentally and like physically. So I had to take a year off after being like heartbroken. Like I made my pro debut in 2017 and like totally just lost in a way I should have never lost, like a rear naked choke to a girl who like didn't even make weight, and it was just embarrassing. And then I lost, and then I took a boxing match that would just set me up for failure. I should have never done it. Like it was just these things that I just never read. And then I hit a breaking point and I had to work on my mental game. So like that's why my big fight is like suicide awareness and suicide prevention. Like that's my big drag.
Absolutely.
My big like fight in the world. Like that's who I want to like. That's those are the people I want to touch. Those are the
Hmm.
reasons why I fight. Only because
Yeah.
like I fall in that victim. Like I used to be suicidal. I had to work on my mental game in 2018, and while doing that, I ran into the most beautiful coach in the world, and his name is Jake Romos. And when I found him at Genesis, like I was broken. Like I was pretty
Yeah.
broken mentally and just knew what I wanted. And when I walked into his office, I told him, I was like, I will and I want to be in the UFC and no one will tell me different. And he looked at me different from anybody else and he said, "Okay, we can do it."
That's
No one
awesome.
has
That's
ever
amazing.
told me that before. After that, I worked underneath him for like 7 months, 8 months, almost a year up until this fight. And this was my first fight underneath him. And like in that fight, like there was no game plan. Like there was if there was a game plan, I don't think I would have performed the way I did. But what I really did in that fight was like bigger than the draw, bigger than the fight itself. It was like I didn't give up on myself for once.
Yeah, absolutely.
I took I took my like my abilities and like my faith and my dreams and I put it all in my soul and I just like let it all out. And I think that's why I perform the way that I do because I can honestly say, and it's fucking funny, I do not remember the third round. I do not
Wow.
remember coming out of the fucking corner of the second round. I do not remember running around the cage like I already won. I don't remember drinking water. Like the only thing I remember is almost falling out of the cage and my coach catching me and then him asking me if I was okay. And then I said, "Yep." And then I like came back into reality. Like that was it. So it was like a fight or flight mode. And like there was no like he's just the type of coach that has no game plan. he's just is like, I'm gonna make you the better you, and you're gonna beat them, and that's what it was. He
No,
was
that's
just
cool.
he coached me to be the best me and not give up on myself.
Now, two-part question. Did you agree with the decision for it to be a draw? And like after you have a fight like this, will you go back before you start training again and look at this tape to see what you can fix to make better or what you can improve on?
I was after I had went back. So as a fighter, not gonna lie, for a couple, it's kind of crazy because if you would have asked me to do this like a couple days after my fight, I don't think I would have been able to give you the best answers because I fell into like a little bit of a depression,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess that is normal for a fighter because like you get so amped up and you feel like you have all this purpose in the world, and after the fight is over, you're like, what? Like I don't do anything anymore. I don't have anything to, I don't have to go to the gym today. Like, I don't have to cut weight. I can eat this piece of pizza. So you're like, you just feel like you get into like this little depressed stage, and then you start to nitpick at yourself. And it's not, I am very, very satisfied the, with the decision. I thought I won, but had she not had knocked me down in the second round, I think that's where it would have won. People like to argue the whole eye poke. She did what she did, and she knew it, and so it's like that's just the name of the game. Just like if it was me, I
Yeah.
would have had those points deducted too. I just feel like I said, it was a fight or flight in the third round. I know now what I need to improve. Like I can go back and like literally wrote my coach the next day, thanked him, told him what I want to change in myself personally. And it's just that simple move backwards. That boxing, it's an old boxing habit that I have where I run backwards and then I never cut them off.
Yeah.
And so then, yeah, but I have the hands to knock out girls. I have the skills to do what I need to do. And like, I'm just super excited to get back in there again. And it was just like, this fight was just basically to see like where I was. I got the dust off. I hadn't fought in 2 years. I'm in a completely mentally different position like than I was before. Like I train day in and day out with like pro athletes. I'm very, very lucky to share like the gym space with like amazing talented fighters every day.
Wow.
In
Now,
which before it was kind of hard to put myself there. Like I actually got to learn again.
now
And it
since
was pretty cool.
we really don't know what goes on with like the different groups as far as MMA up to UFC, how far away are you from UFC and how tough is it to get there?
I don't like to throw out names, but they are my training partners. So like the UFC is as close as you want it to be. As long as you have that faith and believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is like right now, what it does fall on is your record, but I believe that I have the image that's going to take me anywhere I want to go. And the heart, I have the power, I have the skills. So what I'm looking at personally, my personal goals to get there, I mean, I don't put myself in category, but I train with like multiple UFC women, not on a daily, but like, we wrestle together. One of Heather Jo Clark, she's our BJJ coach. Like Rose Namajunas, I get to go rounds with her. JJ Allridge, she hits like a fucking monster, and like yes, I'll walk away crying, but I got those rounds in, and
Yeah.
those are cool.
That's
Now,
awesome.
And so it's like at what your level. It's like it's just whatever you think of what level you're at. And no, there's no who's to say that Dana White didn't look at my fight and didn't say like, okay, she just needs a couple more. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I
absolutely.
can't.
Well,
I hope that I
since
just put.
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I just put myself at a level where I feel like I'm comfortable, and I know that those are my goals, and that's what I want. So like I'll push to be there.
Well, since you mentioned Rose, I mean, if you had a chance for a dream fight right now, who would it be against? Would it be against Jessica or Andrea, Rose, Joanna?
If I had a dream fight right now, honestly, I would like. It's really weird, but I would like to fight myself
That's a good
because
answer.
that is the only person who could beat me. I can only beat myself. So if I can like conquer those fears inside myself even more and like beat myself and see my own holes, then that's like my. But other than that, I mean, any fight is a dream fight
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
me.
Now we've had male fighters on before, but as a woman fighter, is there any certain rules as to places you can't hit? Because we were having that discussion off the podcast. Like, I wonder if there's certain areas that, like, especially like for women to get pregnant in the future, like, is there certain spots you can't hit?
No, they leave it. They pretty much. I mean, it's pretty much just like the guys. I mean, if you get a clear shot to the groin, I think that sometimes they look at it that way. Because I remember one time in a fight, I actually got kneed pretty hard one time, and he gave me my 5 seconds. Like, so I mean, because that hurts. That's like breathtaking. Even
Yeah,
as a
absolutely.
girl, like it's like racking yourself on a bike. Like, holy cow. Um, and then like, yeah, they don't ever say like no shots to the boobs, like, or nothing like that. You just got to take it. You got to
Yeah,
take it and you got to run with it. And I guess we
100%.
don't think, don't really think we think about it either. Yeah, we're like, dang, she hit me in the, oh man, that really hurt.
Now, what's training like for you? You training Monday through Friday? Is it every single day?
I train, so I drive to Arvada every day, Monday through Friday. And then we do pro practice, so we go at 11 to 12, and then from 12 to 1, we have our private BJJ class with our coaches. And then after like 2 o'clock, I'm usually almost done and then heading back in the gym. And then I do my own personal workouts with my personal trainer in the mornings, and I try and have that done before 9 o'clock.
That seems
So I'm
like
usually done with my day before
it
like
seems like
2.
it's a lot. You know, how do you stay? I don't know, not rested, but like
How do you balance your like regular life with
not
your
not
training?
not even like the regular life, but like how do you keep yourself going? Because there's probably gotta be days where you're like, I don't even want to get out of bed today.
You how you keep yourself going is you just have that open communication with your team. Like you have that open communication with your coach, you have your open communication with your trainer. Like on those days that you're like feeling sluggish and you don't want to go in, you tell them like I really don't want to be here and I'm not about to do what you want me to, like, but we need to do something.
Yeah,
So like just having that so they know and so that they can see where you're at mentally too. I think it's just having that open communication. Then and there'll be days where I'm like, Coach, I am not coming in today. I don't feel good. I don't want to, and that's it. And then he calls his days too. So I mean, it evens itself out. I
yeah,
mean, how I make time, I stick to a schedule and I'm very disciplined with it.
yeah.
When I fall off my schedule, I feel like I have no worth. I'm lost. I'm like trying to leave the house and not know where I'm going.
So now
So
what happens as far as like your next fight? Do you just fight in the Colorado area, or do you is someone going to pick your opponent for you for your next fight, or how does that work out for you?
we just get the Colorado area was the first area that we got an offer on for a while. I had a fight back in May, but the girl was just gonna come in too heavy. There was no way. Like I wasn't gonna do that to myself again. And then it's just like our coach, like promoters will call him, he'll put the names out, and then they'll decide if they have anybody in our weight class in our like area, and then if they match us up, we go back and talk about it, see if it's like if it's good, if we're like gonna get screwed on it. Like we really just kind of get the feel for it, and then it kind of just goes from there.
Now, as far as cutting weight, you mentioned about cutting weight. Now we've recently seen videos of Cyborg and what she went through, and Joanna. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
the pain is. I mean, is it dangerous to do stuff like that as far as cutting weight?
It just depends on how you cut it. If you would ask me again, like 2 years ago, I would have said cutting weight's the worst thing in the world. I fucking hate it. I dread it. I wish it never, like, that was the worst thing. But this fight camp, I woke up on weight and I still got to eat and I got to work out. And, like, so it's just being disciplined. It's literally being disciplined. It's literally knowing how big you are and not, like, pushing yourself to be a big fighter in a smaller division.
Yeah.
It's not fair to you. Like, you're going to cause problems for yourself.
But like if you cut weight, I'm sure it's gonna fatigue you and your body's gonna be like really bad
Oh,
as
yeah.
far as
Oh,
like
yeah.
strength. So like for Joanna's case, like I mean they showed like it looked like she was dying. Do you have to do that
Yeah.
so many weeks out and then build up your stamina again to get ready for that fight?
Yeah. So um, so I walk around at like so I walk around at like 130. So I cut 15 pounds. And so I cut 15 pounds in 3.5 weeks. And it was just due to a diet. It was literally just taking my macros, my, my protein and like my carbs and my fats and my sugars and like cutting them down into like different meals throughout the day. And that's what helped me like lower my weight. Um, I sometimes some girls they get to like I've heard that like Holly Holmes, as long as she gets to like I don't know what she walks around at, but they said like 15 pounds over the day of she's fine, and then they do that salt bath. Like that's crazy to me. I just wouldn't have, I know from experience from doing that, I don't perform the next day. My stomach is always messed up like 2 weeks afterwards, and it's just like really hard to recover back from it. Your muscles don't work the same. Like and then again, that's why I say like you really got to pay attention. Like it's not worth being the bigger person in a small
Yeah,
division.
absolutely.
Yeah, I gotta ask you a question. Like, you see these big name stars, and like they go on these losing streaks. You mentioned Holly Holmes, and she's been struggling lately. But like Ronda Rousey, she was on top of the world, and it looked like her last fight, she went in and she just was so cocky that it's like she changed her whole game plan. You know, Rose, she beat Joanna twice, and then she lost the title. What do you think happens to these people? Do you think they just
Mental.
okay?
I think it's the mental game. I think that way I was very blessed to go through the mental stage of my life that like when I do get to that position, all I can do is perform. I think that it's mental. I think if you don't have the right coaches, the right people, like the right like voice in your head to sit there and simply say you're good enough, it's gonna fail. Also, too, I think with Ronda Rousey, in my opinion, I think she let the fans control her fights. Instead of sticking
Hmm.
to what she wanted, people to she allowed herself to be bullied. Like, and that's the bottom line. Like, it doesn't matter like what a spectator says or a person on the couch. You're the one in that ring, and you're the one that you don't have to prove yourself. At that point when those doors close or you jump on that scale, that's proven enough.
Yeah.
And I think that they need to realize that. And like um I respect Joanna as a fighter. I think she's very talented. I'll never take that away from her. Obviously, she's very fucking skilled. I just don't like her attitude.
I know. She
I
thinks
don't
she's
like
the
the way she
best.
portrays herself. Yeah, and and it's okay to be like that. Like I'm I'm not ever gonna say that, but like you have to be humble and thankful, or like this universe, it gives you things like throws it back at you in ways, and then you're like, well, fuck, I should have thought about that.
But you know what
You
I
know?
give her credit for? She's humble in defeat. You know, and the
Yes.
same with Conor McGregor. Even when he lost to Habib, they're both. I mean, they are what they are, and they draw in the crowds. But in defeat,
Yes.
they're humble. They're very humble towards their opponent.
Yes, and then everything other than that
A show.
is just a show. And then I think that like and that's not who Rose was. And that's not who Rose is.
Yeah.
She's not. She does what she does. Um from what I understand, we're not best friends or anything. We're just some teammates that get on the mat together and share stories. But she seems like a very strong willed woman who has a good head on her shoulders for her family and what she wants to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that maybe she might have got pressured into that fight a little bit too fast. I'm not saying like that she wasn't ready, but sometimes it just comes down to that mental game. And like if you're not there mentally, everything physical just seems so hard.
Yeah.
Now, how does it feel personally being involved in such a big movement? Like you think of how big women are in UFC now. Like it was such a male-dominated sport, and you had Ronda Rousey opening it up. You had Holly Holmes come. Like you have a lot of women main cards now. That's got to
Yeah.
be an amazing feeling just to be a part of.
When I first started it, it was like a pretty amazing feeling. I just like knew that that's like something that I wanted. Um, and then when I seen that like the possibility is there for myself, like it was like it's almost like you're faced to live your reality. And that's what I am like right now. It's like I'm just faced to be that. Like I know that I have a message, I know I have the image, I know that I have the skills and the talent that's going to get me there, and then I have the word, like I have people behind my back that are going to help support that. And so I know like my style coming in, it scares people, and but that's okay because I'm not afraid to be different.
Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta ask you something as far as Amanda Nunez goes. Do you see anyone beating her, and do you
Oh
see
no,
any
man.
weaknesses in her game at all?
She's good.
I don't think anyone has tested her ground game, or I could be completely wrong. I feel like a lot of people have
No,
stand
I
up with
I
her,
don't
agree.
but
think she's
I
ever been
don't.
on the ground.
I agree with you because you saw that with Ronda Rousey when Ronda Rousey fought
Hmm.
her. Ronda didn't even stick to her ground game. She tried
Yeah,
boxing with her. And
Well, I
yeah,
thought
she tried to
I
box.
thought Cyborg was gonna put up a good fight, but it looked like Cyborg went in there and said,
So
"I'm
did
gonna."
I.
She
But
went toe to
then,
toe.
yeah, Cyborg didn't. They all just want to stand up, and I don't think people have a lot. She has hands,
oh
like
yeah,
she's.
she has some
But
hands.
I don't think anyone's truly tested her ground game, and that's where it's at against Raquel Pennington. She did the same exact thing: head hunted, leg hunted, did what she needed to do. Um, she did what she needed to do to get the title. She like freaking destroyed Chris Cyborg. Like,
And
yeah,
nobody paces
I
her
don't think
either.
anyone can beat her as long as she stands up with them. But again, everyone's beatable.
Hmm.
There's always a hole in someone's game.
Yep.
She just hasn't been tested on the ground, and I give it to
Yeah.
her. She's fucking done what she needed to. And then that's the same for the 25 or two. I don't think she's been tested a lot on the ground either. She's all just stood up.
It just seems like the Brazilian women just are just amazing. They're like elite when it comes to
Yes.
UFC.
Hmm.
And
And I just think um I think it's because their mind hasn't been corrupted. They have such a big social, like Brazilians stick with Brazilians, and they're proud of where they are and who they come from, and they
Mhm.
don't like have that, like they don't have any doubt in their mind.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think you get that with people from different countries, where like a lot of fighters from America, we have so much shit to fucking like fight.
Yeah.
Like we're fighting ourselves, but we're fighting the person that's like eating chips on the couch telling you you're a piece of shit and you shouldn't be fighting anymore. Like,
Yeah.
what? And why do we listen to that?
Yeah.
Hey,
That's just because who we are. We're human.
I have a two-part question, and then we'll see what you think of these. What keeps you hungry? I mean, you take this whole UFC MMA thing. It takes a toll on your body. How long do you see yourself doing this? And then, what do you want to remember for your career? Like, what do you want people to say? Hey, when they say your name, what do you want them to remember about you?
What keeps me hungry is waking up every morning knowing that the hardest thing to do was to wake up and roll out of bed and doing it,
Yeah.
giving myself that 1%, making it to where sit at 51%, and that was worth it to me because I've had my days where I've never wanted to wake up, and that was okay for me. So what keeps me alive is literally what fuels me is my wife and my children and my mother. When I
That's
look at my
awesome.
mother, it's for her. She raised 3 kids on her own, on top of taking care of her brothers and sisters, and that's what it's about. At the end of the day, it's about taking care of and providing for my family, knowing that I live my dream to the fullest and allowing that for my kids too. Like if I stop and quit now and stay to my 9 to 5, that's not fair to me. Why should I be out there working for somebody else and creating their dream when I have an opportunity to do it by myself?
Absolutely.
That's
Great
good.
answer. Great answer.
Yeah.
And then I just want to be known for just being a fucking, fighting, fucking going out there, giving it all, giving it my all, and just knowing it was for those people who like didn't feel like they were worth it, or like to raise the awareness and prevention of suicide for Fight to Live. Like that's my thing. It's like
That's awesome.
you gotta fight it every day, and no matter what, anything that you do, you gotta give it to yourself because like you're better than you were yesterday, and it and like you have a heartbeat and you're here for a reason, and like those ucky feelings, they'll go away. So like just believe in yourself, because if I can truly do it with everything that I've been through, like they can do it too.
Well, you know what? You have an amazing story, and people don't realize just how bad depression and stuff like that is. And there's a lot of people in this world that you don't even know they're battling depression until something happens to them tragically, and then you read about it, and by then it's too late because
It's too late.
there's no signs, you know. And some people just they lock themselves into their inner side, and you never know what's going on.
Yeah, and I'm really big on that too because I lost one of my cousins to suicide. So after him, it was just like it felt right, and then I had to deal with all my stuff, my past like my past lives, like my past in general from when I was young. I had to do like hypnotherapy, I had to do EMDR, like go to counseling, just really, really, really give me like really drill in my head that I was worth it. And then it was like about the self love, and like people don't understand that, but if you don't take an hour, it's like an hour out of your day to give yourself love, like then you won't ever think you deserve it. And if you think about it, that's only 4% of your day to love yourself.
Yeah.
It's only 4%.
Yep.
Well, everything else you can do for everybody else and give it to them and be 100 with everything else, but allow yourself to be that 100 in that hour for your 4%, because it'll be worth it in the end.
That's good. Well, we appreciate you just coming on here and sharing your story. You know,
It's amazing, amazing story.
Pretty awesome person, and it was a blast talking with you.
Hey, thank you.
And we would love to have you on again. Like, you have to keep us in the loop of what's going on as far as fighting through either Instagram or through Twitter or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. And then I have teammates like that would love to do this stuff too, you know, like if you ever I'm telling you, we have a lot of people that come in through our gym, like my coach, like even if you guys want to come down and check it out, like it's a really cool facility, really cool place, really cool people.
Well, we do get out to Fort Collins every now and then to come visit Kelsey and Mike.
Yeah, so if we come out there, we'll have to come get a photo with you.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys are ever in the Arvada area, like Genesis, come in and check us out.
That would be awesome.
Absolutely. Well, we thank you for coming on, and we hope you have a good rest of your night, and it's been a blast.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Stacy. Have a great
night.
All
right. You too. Bye.
Bye.
All right, so we just had an amazing interview. Stacy, was a pleasure to have her on.
I love talking to UFC fighters, man. It's just, you know what? They're just another, I don't know, they're on another level. To have the courage to get up and go into a job where you're going to be going fisticuffs with someone.
Wish I could do it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, I try to avoid fights, and these people want to get in fights, and you got to have a special mindset to do that. And her story is just amazing. It really is.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to have her on. But now it's on to the second part of this podcast, you know, where we talk about the stupid stuff going around the league.
Stupid stuff. Antonio Brown, are we going to talk about him again?
That's the stupid stuff I'm talking about. But we're about halfway through the NFL season, and, you know, there's a lot of talks going on about your MVP voters, MVP candidates.
Oh, yeah, I got a list. Somewhere. Let's see.
I have top 4 that I have come up with in my mind. My top 4 would be Russell Wilson, Christian McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson. I can't remember my other one.
Russell Wilson right now, according to Vegas, is the number one, right now, number 1 MVP of the league. Mm-hmm. Number 2, Lamar Jackson. He's tied with Deshaun Watson.
That's who the other one was, Deshaun Watson.
Aaron Rodgers they have as number 4, which I don't really agree with. I don't agree with that. I mean,
I think the Christian McCaffrey stats.
McCaffrey's 5th.
No, I think he should be top 3. I do, especially that Aaron Rodgers just got blown out by the Chargers. There's no way.
And you know what? Rodgers only had really good 2 statistical good games, really.
I don't think Rodgers should be in the top 5. Not at all.
No, not at all.
I think there's a lot other people that could. So there's a lot of rumors. I'm not even saying this because I'm a Saints fan that say Michael Thomas could be in the top 5 just because he's set to break records this year. I don't think he's going to win it, obviously, because there's so much talent ahead of him.
But that's what's weird. You don't even see. It's all quarterbacks, really, and one running back. You don't see anyone.
But if you look
as far as receivers,
if you look at the stats that Russell Wilson's putting up this year, I don't even think he's thrown an interception yet.
Yeah, he did. He threw one. I think he has 22 touchdowns to 1 interception.
And
he's having an amazing year.
An amazing year.
And he doesn't have a lot of weapons there.
And we've talked about this many times. That's a tight division. And I think that the 49ers are beatable. I think Seattle. I don't remember who I picked to win that division. But I know I didn't pick the 49ers. I know I didn't pick the Rams.
I know I didn't pick the 49ers.
I think we picked Seattle.
I don't know. I don't remember. I have to go back and look at the tape. But I tell you what, Monday night is going to be an amazing game. And it's the Seattle Seahawks against the 49ers.
Is it in Seattle?
I don't think so. I think it's in San Fran.
I could see, we do this little thing here at the Klein House where we pick teams every week to win. And, I'm in first place.
No, you're not.
I am.
You're actually a game out of first place now behind Robbie.
Oh, well, he didn't pick the Raiders, so now I'm in first place.
I have his picks.
Yeah, I don't think he picked the Raiders. Anyway, I am probably going to pick Seattle this week, just the fact that I think... Are you going to look it up right now?
I'm looking.
I think Seattle is going to beat the 49ers. I think the 49ers have a great secondary, a good defense. Boza, amazing year. And I think Garoppolo is playing great. I just think that
Robbie picked the Raiders.
Yeah, Robbie, unbelievable. I could see the Seahawks win this game, really.
This is going to be the first test for the 49ers. A tough test. It's a division test, and the thing is the Rams. I mean, they are what they are, but they're 5-3.
I think the Rams are trash.
No, we'll see.
I'll put it in simple terms.
We'll see.
Trash.
I mean, we'll see. The Rams, they still have a good coach. They still have a lot of weapons, and they're like anyone else in this league. They have to get things going in the right direction, and there's a lot of teams that are struggling that are good. Mm-hmm. I mean, Chicago, they're struggling, and
can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
We're halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey, 887 rushing yards already.
And that's just rushing yards.
That's not even receiving yards.
He probably has like 1,500 yards total offense.
10 touchdowns, 0 fumbles.
Yeah, and he's getting no love. That's what's crazy about it.
He is probably on set to have a historical year. I mean, you think about most running backs try and get 1,000 yards a year. He's going to get that. I mean, there's like half a season left, and he's already almost at 1,000 yards. Cam Newton actually is on the IR now. He's out for the rest of the season. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, Kyle Allen will be replacing him. Kyle Allen, who's only like one loss, and they were ready to bench him.
Well, that's gonna be the question for next year.
Well, they're saying
who's
Kyle Allen.
Quarterback?
Kyle Allen is like the whole Dak Prescott thing right now. And I could see if I was Carolina, I think that if Kyle Allen keeps winning, they got some tough games coming up. I would think about trading Cam Newton. I think you have to.
Yeah, and
you have a young running back, you have a young receiver, in DJ Moore.
But there's teams out there that need quarterbacks too.
And I'm not even saying Cam Newton's old. I'm just saying I think it's time to move on from Cam Newton.
Tennessee,
I like Cam Newton.
Tennessee's a mess right now. They're talking about Tannehill being the quarterback again, and they're talking about Mariota being a receiver for this week.
What?
That's one of the rumors going around. I mean, that'd be a place for Cam Newton.
Tannehill's putting up some good passing yards.
That'd be a place for Cam Newton. Denver is a quarterback nightmare. That'd be another place for Cam Newton.
I would love
Chicago.
Yep.
Chicago's another place.
That would be my number one. So you have young good running backs that don't really get to run the ball a lot because your quarterback is very inconsistent right now. He would shine there.
Yeah.
Good fast receivers, good defense. My biggest thing is I'm not giving up on Trubisky yet. I think
you know what?
I think
it's funny is they took Trubisky over Mahomes. I don't think he's a good quarterback.
But now, if you read a lot of the reports, if you look at the tape, Trubisky was ready compared to these players coming out of college.
Who knows if they're ready? I mean, to be honest with you, who knows?
You know what's funny is Trubisky, his first 2 years is really good years.
I mean, look at Kellen Moore.
Last year,
look at Kellen Moore's career at Boise State. He has the best record of all time for starting quarterbacks in college football. He wasn't ready for the NFL.
I mean, but you saw Trubisky last year. I'm pretty sure he was a Pro Bowl. He was top 5 in QBR. He got to the playoffs. They should have went further into the playoffs if their kicker didn't miss that field goal.
The thing is that would be a good place, and we're going to talk about this guy, Antonio Brown. If he wanted to come back and play, I mean, he does want to come back and play.
He's not going to go to
But
a team where there's no good quarterback.
Trubisky, what besides Robinson, what weapons does he have?
He's got Gabriel. Gabriel's a good tight end, and they got Trey Burton.
You need a bigger name there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so.
You need a bigger name. They don't have the flash receivers.
Well, Cohen's having a little bit of a down year too.
They're not using him like they did last year.
I think I said this from the beginning. They were stupid to get rid of Howard because Howard was your power back.
I like Montgomery. Montgomery's better than Howard. Howard's more of a north-south runner. He's not an east-west runner.
He's your good power back. And
Montgomery's good. He's going to be really good there. I mean, his last couple of games in fantasy, he's been doing well. He's starting to get more receiving yards out of the backfield.
They need to give him more touches. He's good at breaking tackles.
He's getting in the last couple of games. He's been getting like 18 to 20 touches a game, so he's in good shape. That division, though, and I keep saying this, that division, I think Minnesota is the team that's going to win that division. I mean, I hope they don't win this week. They're playing Dallas, but
you can't sleep on Detroit, though. I mean, they had a chance to pick up a lot of games last week because everyone in that division basically lost. I mean, Green Bay lost to the Chargers. That was pretty embarrassing. But no, I think Minnesota is gonna. I think that's gonna be a good matchup for Dallas.
The sun shines on every dog's butt every now and then. So the Chargers played a great game. Then they laid an egg against the Raiders.
I think. Well, the Raiders are on a 4-game winning streak. Okay, can we just say that for a second?
They're only a half a game out of a wild card spot, and they're only a game back behind Kansas City for the division.
Mahomes come back this week.
Yeah.
But with the Minnesota Vikings and Dallas game, I think if Minnesota shuts down Zeke, you're gonna be in trouble.
Well, we're gonna get into those stats in a little bit, but Vegas came out Super Bowl favorites just the other day.
Is the Chargers still on there?
What do you think are your top 5?
Oh, top 5 easily 49ers. Is that on there?
They're in the top 5. They're 3.
Saints.
They're number 2.
Minnesota.
No.
Okay, that's my one guess. New England Patriots top 3 right there. You have your 3.
You got
your Patriots.
Patriots are 1.
You got Patriots, Saints. Who did I say?
49ers.
Dallas.
No.
I don't know why I said Dallas. Dallas. Okay, so Seattle. Did I say Seattle?
Nope.
They're not up there?
Nope. Top 5 is the Patriots, the Saints, the 49ers, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Ravens.
I'm shocked the Chiefs because even when Mahomes was playing, they were struggling.
Yeah. Seattle, I think it should be on that list. I think Seattle's
absolutely.
tough.
It's just, I mean, because I can see them making the wild card if they don't win that division. But I don't know why the Ravens weren't on there.
I don't know.
Oh, no, they were. Never mind.
Anyway, getting back to Antonio Brown, Josina Anderson reported that Antonio Brown is supposed to meet with the NFL to explain his side of the story. And then he went on this rant on Twitter. Now, he went on a Twitter rant about him and being black and all this stuff, but then he deleted it. And yesterday or later on today, he just put up a new tweet after he deleted his other one saying, "I'm just very frustrated right now with the false allegations and slander to my name. I love football and I miss it. I just want to play and I'm very emotional about that. I'm determined to make my way back to the NFL as soon as possible."
Yeah, what's weird is that he bashes NFL, and then right after that he tweets,
"But
I just
you
want
know
to play
what?
the NFL."
And I don't want to defend Antonio Brown.
I'd be upset
I really
too.
don't. I mean,
yes, after everything we saw that was annoying, he gets on a team and he's playing, and then this thing happens.
The thing that annoys me about the NFL is they have too much control. This guy has not been charged. He has not been arrested. He has not. They're not even questioning him about what happened in these allegations. But the NFL is holding him hostage right now because teams will not take a chance of signing him, knowing that the NFL is going to turn around and put him on the exempt list, which is not right.
What doesn't make sense is if the police don't arrest you, they don't charge you. Why does the NFL have the power to make their own case?
That's what I just said. This makes no sense. It's not fair. They're holding him hostage. He could still be playing in the NFL, and they're basically taking food off of his table. Well, I mean, he did that himself a little bit. He had 2 teams that picked him up, but I don't agree with the NFL's doing. I really don't. Until you have any kind of proof, or if he's been charged, that's when they should step up and do what they got to do. But until then, let the guy play. There's a lot of teams out there that could use him. Dallas is one of them. And let him play. And then there's another guy that's out there that's stirring the pot a little bit.
Des Bryant.
Des Bryant.
I saw
Des
that.
Bryant wants to come
Why
back.
I am so excited Why I am so excited, this is why, okay? New Orleans Saints need a receiver. Des Bryant said if he comes back to the NFL, he's letting the Saints be the first team to offer him a contract. I am so excited because I want him. I want him to come. I think Drew Brees can save anyone's career. I want to see him throw up the X in the dome, and I want to see it happen. We need the receiving help. You can. It gives the tight ends more opportunities. Gives the slot man a little bit more opportunities. And he's a good red zone threat. Even if you don't play him a lot, he's a good red zone threat.
I think he'd be a perfect pickup right now for any team that needs a receiver, and even Dallas. I wish Dallas would bring him back and let him retire as a Dallas Cowboy.
Dallas let Josh Gordon slip right through their fingers. They're not going to get Des Bryant.
He just put up a tweet and says, "I'm 225 pounds. I'll be 220 to 223 by next week, and the following week I'll be good."
Yeah, he said he wants about 2 weeks.
I think his only problem is he's older. He has a lot of injuries to his feet. His cut
That's
aren't
why
the
I said
same.
he's
more of a 50-50 kind of ball.
He'd be more of like a red zone guy. Throw him in there.
Yeah.
When you get on the other side of the field.
If anything, I might stick him in the slot. Move Michael Thomas out if he did go to the Saints, because Thomas has better speed, better route running.
Yeah.
Dez can go up and be like a tight end,
You put
go
him and Ted
turn,
Ginn
run the Y.
You put him and Ted Ginn on the outside and let Dez be the slot guy. Dez is a big boy too. He can jump, and that's something that Drew Brees could use. Have you seen the power rankings, by the way? You got the 49ers at 1, I think the Saints at 2, and the Ravens at 3 now. But there's a lot of people that are making a strong case that the Saints could be number 1. And I can't wait till the Saints play the 49ers. They play them in a couple weeks in the Dome. I think that the 49ers are beatable. Just like you saw the New England Patriots get beat by the Ravens, which, by the way, was a great game. Lamar Jackson played amazing. Mark Ingram played amazing. Their defense played amazing.
I think this week in football is kind of boring, though, because I think there's only 2 games this week where there's 2 teams playing each other with over 500 records. The Dallas Cowboys versus Minnesota and Seattle versus the 49ers.
Detroit's playing Chicago. That's going to be good.
I don't think Detroit has a winning record. That's what I'm saying. There's only two sets of games that where the teams with the winning record are playing each other.
Carolina and Green Bay are playing each other. That's going to be an interesting game, especially for Kyle Allen. That's going to be a good one. You have Pittsburgh playing. No, I mean I pictured Big Ben for some reason, but he's not there anymore.
Nah, and you know what? I mean Pittsburgh. Don't get me wrong. They're doing well, but I don't think they have a quarterback that can take them anywhere. I really don't.
You have Minshew got benched, and now you have Nick Foles, who they have a bye this week, which is good for Nick Foles, but Nick Foles is going to be started, which is the right way. I mean, you're paying the guy that much money.
Let's say what it is. He didn't get benched. He did his job as a fill-in, and now you're paying.
My biggest thing is that they're kind of like trashing the guy because he finally has his first bad game, and they're like, "Get beside the bench him."
But that's not that. He's not being benched.
He's
they're
moving out of his
paying
role.
Foles a lot of money to be there. They have to do this. You can't have another Eli Manning making $21 million a year to sit on the bench.
I think Minshew's going to be a starter. I don't know if it's going to be with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think he's deserved that, right? I really do. I think he deserves it from what he's done.
That's like Teddy's going next year for the Saints. He'll get paid $20 million somewhere.
Yeah. Now, we talked about. You said Patrick Mahomes is coming back. Adam Thielen is going to be out this week.
Oh, you just made a trade for Adam Thielen.
Yeah. AJ Green, he was going to look like he was going to play. Now they're almost guaranteeing he's going to be out.
Yeah, that's just I don't even know what's going on with him anymore. That's like a Jacoby Ellsbury type of thing.
Well, AJ Green, he came out the other day and he told Cincinnati Bengals, "Don't franchise tag me next year. Either sign me to a long-term deal or release me."
Yeah, and we talked about that. How stupid are they not to trade him when you know he's not going to sign with you?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to give him a big contract for a rebuilding team. Like, just trade him.
I would put him on an IR for the rest of the year. He's got an ankle injury.
When's the last time you saw him play? Early season last year,
I don't
maybe?
watch the Bengals play, so I don't really know.
No, I'm saying, like, when's the last time he's had a healthy season?
But he's got an ankle problem, and you know what?
Trade him. You got John Ross, who when he's healthy, he's a great receiver. He'll come back.
Well, you got Tate, you got Boyd there. You have a bunch of guys there that can play.
A bunch of good young guys. Yeah.
The Eagles re-signed Jordan Matthews for the 3rd time. And,
really?
Yeah, I think that's a good pickup for them. I like Jordan Matthews.
Was he just a free agent floating around?
No, he was with the 49ers, I believe, and they released him.
Well, you got Emmanuel Sanders, who's playing very well.
Mitchell Trubisky, he turned off all the TVs in the locker room and on the facility because he didn't want anyone following all that negative news about their team.
There's a lot of news on him, and I you know what sucks is when you're on a team that has all the right pieces to be a Super Bowl contender and the QB is struggling. there's a lot of heat on you right now.
Yeah.
And it's probably tough hearing a lot of people talk bad about you because it starts to affect your game. It starts to affect your mental awareness, your just the way you approach the game. But that's just like another team we could talk about is the Browns.
Browns so glad they suck.
I'm not.
I really am. I can't stand Baker Mayfield. I really can't. He's another Johnny Manziel.
I don't think he's another Johnny Manziel.
He's just an arrogant, and I can't stand him. I really can't.
Listen, is there?
I like his commercials though on TV, but the stadium being his house, like that one with his girlfriend or fiance, where she's down there trying to make a smoothie and he's up there playing with the panel. But I don't like him as a person.
I don't know. Is there blame to be for the Baker for being 2-6? There is a little bit because the ball's in his hand. You know, at the end of the day,
but the head coach takes all the heat.
Yeah, I mean,
they're talking about firing him already. Freddie Kitchens isn't. He's a great coach.
The thing is that there's so much talent on that team and there's no chemistry. You have Odell Beckham who has 4 red zone targets this year in the red zone. Like, you have to give him the ball. But you have Jarvis Landry. You have Njoku. Like, I know you don't have a lot of offensive line help, but this team, it's like you got to blame everybody. There's no chemistry. It's like, who gets the blame? Is it Odell? Is it Baker? Is it the coach? You know, I even heard rumors that they might trade OBJ again. I mean, I want the Browns to be good. They have all the talent on that team to be good.
There's a lot of people out there saying that Freddie Kitchens is the problem, and I don't see it. I don't see it. I
think the play calling isn't working out. You watch they played who's in Colorado? Denver. They played Denver Broncos, who it's a quarterback starting for the first time. They ran the ball 30 more times than Denver, and they had the ball 11 more minutes than Denver, and you're telling me you still can't win?
No. I don't think they have all the weapons there as far as offensive line yet. And
their defense is good.
Yeah, but it's underperformed. They're allowing a lot of points.
And I think the Browns have a good team in set. I think there was a lot of hype, so a lot of people were expecting them to be, I was one of them, having at least 8 wins. But I think they still need time to come together as a team.
I heard a rant the other day driving home, and I was on 105.3 to Fan. They were playing it, and I don't know if it was Freddie Kitchens or if it was the GM, but it was the funniest thing ever, man. He was just screaming, and like the media was just sitting there like shocked, like they didn't want to ask any questions.
Oh, you know what I saw the other day? How crazy is this, okay? The Jets lost to Miami, obviously. And the head coach was in an interview with the press. And the one guy asked him, it was like something along the lines like, does this put more fire for you getting fired? And the coach looked at him and said, I forget what he said, but he walked out. Like, could you imagine a reporter saying to you, like, I think he said something like, does this add to the case for you getting fired?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Could you imagine a reporter saying that to you? I would have lost it.
Well, you know what? They have to. Unfortunately, reporters have a bad job because they have to ask the questions that people want to hear.
As a human being, how do you ask that job? First of all, this guy does not deserve the blame. You have Sam Darnold goes out week 1. Simeon goes out week 1. Okay, you were down to a 3rd-string quarterback. Half your defense got injured. Your best tight end got injured. Like, how are you supposed to scavenge wins out of that team?
Next man up, man. Next man up. They're all professionals. I mean, they draft them. They draft them for a reason. So
does this add to your case to get fired? Like, I would have flipped the mic and been like, "You want to go?"
Let's face it, it's a business, and if the crowd is not buying tickets to come there, someone's got to take the axe, and unfortunately, it's the coach because you can't fire players when they're under contract like that. You'll be eating a lot of money.
And I know the Giants just lost to Dallas, but I truly think that the Giants, give them 1 or 2 years, I think they're gonna be a good team.
Yeah, we got
I like Daniel Jones. You got to give Saquon a little bit more touches. You're gonna get Sterling Shepard back. Ingram looks really good right now. You have Golden Tate.
You got the battle of the suck this week in New York. It's the Giants versus the Jets.
I saw this weird stat where it was like the Jets are the best team because the Jets beat Dallas beat blah 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 blah. It keeps going to like someone beat the Patriots. And I was laughing.
You know what? The weirdest stat that I saw was that the Chargers, as bad as they are, every game that they lost this year was by 7 points or fewer. That is crazy. That could have went either way. They could be top of the top, but it didn't sit well with whatever happened.
I think Rivers is in first for passing yards this year.
I don't know.
I really don't have an answer because it's like they're losing to, like they were losing to some really bad teams. Like they lost to the Steelers, they lost to the Broncos, and then they beat Green Bay, which I think shocked everybody. And they lost to the Titans. And then I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, they just lost to the Raiders.
Wow.
So now they're 4-6 and third in the AFC West.
It's the third week in a row for the Cowboys to be playing a night game, and I hate it. I hate going to bed late at night, either mad or excited. Either way, I'm not going to get any sleep. But Dallas is in for a tough stretch. They have 4 games in the next 18 days. The schedule gets real tough starting this week with Minnesota. And after a Monday night game, Jason Garrett, I think he's got like a horrible freaking record. Jason Garrett is, where did I write that down? Jason Garrett is 1-6 after the Monday night games, 0-4 at home. It's going to be a tough one because this is, I don't want to say a must win, but it is a must win for Dallas. And not only because you want to stay ahead of the Eagles, but you want to stay close with the teams that are in the wild card. If you don't win a division. So this is a game that you have to win.
I agree.
Kirk Cousins.
I think that this is personally a game that's going to show you whether Dallas is legit or not.
These are some stats for Rudy because I know he's a big Minnesota fan. And you know what? I think these stats are going to come back to bite everyone in the butt. They're talking about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is 1-6 versus Dallas with 13 sacks. His stats are like ridiculously bad when it comes to like primetime games. Well, first of all, he's 0-25 when his passer rating is under 85. He's 31-15 when he's above that. Minnesota is 0-13-1 in outdoor games since 2015,
but
which
it's not
I
an
think
outdoor game, though.
Dallas could open the dome up. My biggest fear is Dallas. They've been getting off to slow starts in 6 of the 8 games this year. They trailed in the first half. You can't start off slow against a team like this. You really can't. What other stats do I have? Let's see. Dak is 4-0 versus Cousins. Dallas is 14-5 in night games with Dak. Dak has 105.9 passer rating versus top 5 defenses per the NFL Gil Brandt. Cousins is 16-14 in prime time starts, 6-29 versus opponents with winning records. I mean, everything is favoring Dallas, but you know what? The thing that really scares me about freaking Kirk Cousins is in the last 5 weeks, he has 13 TDs, only 1 pick.
Kirk Cousins is on another level right now. And we said this probably like 4 or 5 weeks ago that if Kirk Cousins can just get it together, like this team is going to be good. You got a good running back, you got a good team, you got everything. And we're seeing that. Will he continue this? I don't know.
Well, the thing,
it's hard to have a 4-touchdown game with 0 interceptions constantly every week. So
the thing that helps Dallas out is one of the weapons is done. Thielen, he's not going to be there. We've proven in the past we shut down Kamara, we shut down Saquon, we can shut down running backs. We have to.
Looked pretty good against you guys.
He only had 29 yards rushing, Ty. It's his lowest in his career. He had one 65-yard pass for a screen that went for 65 yards. We shut him down. The problem is we got to take Diggs away. And they're talking about in order to stop the run, they're going to play 3 tight ends. Van Der Esch, I guess Sean Lee's going to play again.
Sean Lee playing?
Sean Lee is playing. But they want to go to a three linebacker set, which means Jordan Lewis won't see the field that much, which I don't like that. Jordan Lewis has been a beast this year.
The thing for Minnesota is, what's his name, Xavier Rhodes? Like he looks off lately, and if he's on and can shut down Cooper, and then they can really focus on stopping Zeke, and putting the ball in Dak's hands, that's really where the test is going to be for Dallas.
But that's Minnesota's weakness on defense. They give up a lot of passing yards.
Yeah, they've been struggling this year.
So I mean, it's gonna be a great game. It's gonna be loud in Dallas.
That's the dome.
No, whatever. You and your dome, man. It's going to be loud in there. And like I said, this is going to be a must-win because, you know what? The Eagles have New England and Seattle, and then their schedule gets super easy. And Dallas, man, they got a tough stretch, real tough stretch.
Saints have a nice stretch, which I'm happy about. But, no, I think this is going to be a fun game to watch, and I'm excited for this game.
A quick couple extra notes, not pertaining to the NFL, but this is for baseball. Baseball, the NBA, the MLB came out and said electronic strike zone is coming to the minor league baseball. They used it in the International League, and they also used it this year in the Arizona Fall League. Umpires have said it's not something that they really recommend, that it's not accurate. What do you think about this whole strike zone thing?
I hate it. I hate it so much. I had my opinion when we talked about it the one time. I think that we're changing the game of baseball too much, and that we should just leave it in the umpire's hands. Like, I mean, I know umpires screw up, but that's part of the game.
Apparently, the home umpire's behind there. And
Yeah, he's still there with an
has-
earpiece, and
Yeah, and
it's
it
just-
tells him
I don't
strike
like
or
that.
ball.
I
But
mean,
I'm
you add an instant replay, which I understand.
like,
but
what
now
happens
it's
if
just
somebody
like,
hacks it? You know what I mean?
it's not even that. Just stop. Why do we got to keep changing everything? Like, just let it be. Like, baseball is a game that we love. Just stop changing it. There's no need to change it. It's perfect the way it is. Like, obviously, there's little flaws here and there, but, like, just stop changing it. Like, you add a pitch clock in. You add all the... You don't want the batter stepping out of the batter's box to calm their minds and think of what's coming. Like, there's just so much stuff they're adding to the game. They're changing the balls. More home runs happen. Change the balls in the playoffs. Less home runs happen. It's just, like... It's a joke.
Quick basketball note. Sixers lost 2 in a row. I mean,
And Simmons is hurt.
You know what? I'm not really worried about the Sixers going out west and playing. I mean, right now they're 1-2 on the road. They have Denver tonight. They've played some really tough teams, and they could have beaten. They could have beaten. What the heck? I can't even think of the damn name. Phoenix. That's it. They could have beaten Phoenix.
Booker
but
looked good, though.
Booker got hot. I mean,
He
the
looked
Sixers
good.
led 3/4 of that game.
He got hot at the right time.
Yeah, and they should have beat Utah. They got a tough one tonight against Denver. They're another 5-2 team. I think the Sixers will be fine.
All I gotta say, man, is LeBron looks good. 3 triple doubles in a row.
Yeah, I hate LeBron. I'm not even worried about LeBron and his Taco Tuesday. It's annoying.
Dude.
It's annoying.
That team looks good though.
The Clippers were fine, and the NBA is trying to crack down on this. They're trying to crack down on, these big name players who the coaches sit them out, and it's not fair to the fans. Supposedly, there was some conflicting comments on Kawhi's health, and it didn't sit well with the NBA, so they fined the Clippers $50,000. He sat out one night because he was injured, and then he played the next night, and I guess they interviewed Doc Rivers, and what he said didn't match up with the other story, so they fined him.
Did you see that they came the Hornets coach came out and said that Michael Jordan used to tell the team that you're only paid for 82 games.
Yeah.
I love that.
So do I.
That's like how you used to tell people in baseball, you're only guaranteed regular season games.
Yeah.
Once playoffs come. Now, I don't know if he was saying in that sense, like if we make playoffs, like...
Well, Michael Jordan's a beast. I mean, his last year in the NBA, he played every game.
Yeah.
These players today are soft. They really are.
You're only guaranteed 80. I
They
love that.
they make all this money, and they're just soft. I mean, you're playing a sport. Get out there and suck it up and play it.
Dude, I know.
Like Kurt Simmons would say. Play the damn game. Sixers up 13-8, by the way.
It is frustrating that people like, and I think in sports nowadays too, you can't risk going out with like a little like, oh, my finger hurts.
Yeah,
oh,
next
my
guy up
leg
might be
hurts."
better than you, and
I
that's
know.
it.
And you've seen it happen multiple times, whether it's in football, baseball, basketball, whatever it is. You see it happen.
Well, you heard what Staci said. She has to compete because she wants to put food on the table and she wants to provide for her family.
Yeah.
That's the problem with these guaranteed
They get
contracts.
spoiled.
These people get spoiled, they get lazy, and then they don't want to do their jobs.
Yeah.
But one more big note for all you college football fans out there. This is the first time ever 2 sets of undefeated teams face off in the same weekend in NCAA football.
It's a good game.
You have LSU versus Alabama, which is going to be a
Possibly
big
2
game. I
Heisman
hope
winners
to
right
God
there.
LSU Tigers take down the Tide. And Penn State takes on number 8 Minnesota.
Okay, in that LSU and Bama game, you got possibly 2 Heisman winners right there.
And Tulo's playing, so
Yeah,
it's
he's
gonna
back.
everyone's
he
gonna
had
be there.
surgery and
It's-
everything, man. That's
yeah.
how crazy that is.
It's gonna be a great weekend of college football.
Yeah, well, we hope you guys enjoy this podcast.
A lot of fun.
It was a blessing to have Staci on, and we hope everything goes well with her. This podcast will be up on all our platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Google Music, whatever you listen to. Follow us on our Instagram page, on our Facebook page, on our Twitter page. Keep you guys updated, but we hope you enjoy this, guys, and we'll see you.